We asked her for repairs. They gave us upgrades, coffee, and a war. The freighter Oris Dawn drifted in the shadow of the Veer Belt, a stretch of debris and frozen rock that had once been a thriving mining colony. Its hull groaned every time the temperature shifted too fast, and one engine coughed more than it roared. The captain, a Zalari named Trivane, stared at the cracked status screens with something between despair and resignation. The Oris Dawn wasn't just a ship. It was home to over 200 displaced beings, merchants, refugees, and a scattering of mercenaries trying to forget the wars they fought. And now, the ship's oxygen processors were failing. One more system crashed, and life support would dip below survivable levels. The obvious choice would have been to request aid from one of the core alliances. But Trivane knew what that meant. Weeks of bureaucracy, bribes, and debts that would never be repaid. They didn't need politics. They needed working air scrubbers. So, with a weary flick of his clawed hand, Trivane did the unthinkable. He sent a distress call to Earth. No one called Earth anymore. Not since the humans had pulled back from interstellar affairs 2 generations ago. They had their own planet, their own oceans, their own gravity. They stopped trading, stopped sending soldiers, stopped even answering most hails. Isolationists, the galaxy had whispered, dismissing them as outdated relics of a violent past. But Trivane figured that made them the perfect option. They wouldn't ask for political favors. They either ignored the call, or they helped. He didn't expect a reply to come within the hour. The arrival, the human vessel that appeared, was nothing like the ships Trivane remembered from war records. Sleek black plating, hull curves like a predatory sea creature, and engines that flared a pale blue-white instead of burning plasma. It was small, only the size of a patrol craft, but it radiated strength. A voice came over the comms, rich and casual, speaking the trade tongue fluently but with that clipped human accent. This is Commander Elena Park of the Solace. We received your request for repairs. Permission to dock. Trivane almost forgot how to speak. Granted. Docking Bay 3. When the humans came aboard, the crew gathered in the hangar bay, their wide eyes following the newcomers. There were 4 of them. 2 engineers in gray jumpsuits, a medic, and Commander Park herself in a dark coat with rank stripes at the shoulders. Each carried packs of tools and scanners that gleamed with unfamiliar designs. Your message said failing oxygen processors, degraded engines, and structural stress fractures. Park said briskly after introductions. We can handle those. Might take a few days. In the meantime, she held out a small metallic case. We brought coffee. The word meant nothing to most of the crew, but the ship's human, an elderly refugee named Morgan, let out a strangled gasp. Coffee? Real coffee. Park cracked the seal, and a wave of warm, bitter fragrance filled the hangar. The aliens wrinkled their noses, confused, while Morgan's eyes watered with joy. It's tradition, Park said simply. Where humans fix, we brew. Repairs and upgrades. The humans worked fast. Their tools unfolded into nanoscopic swarms that crawled into the processors, scrubbing away corrosion. Their welding torches hummed with energy frequencies Trivane's engineers had never seen. Within hours, oxygen levels were stable, and the failing engines purred with new vitality. But the humans didn't stop at repairs. These reactor coils are centuries out of date, one engineer muttered. I can replace them with adaptive fusion modules. Your navigation system is laughable, said another. Installing human-grade predictive mapping. Trivane blinked. We asked for repairs, not refits. Park only smiled. Upgrades cost us nothing. You needed more than bandages. You needed a chance. By the 3rd day, the Oris Dawn no longer groaned. She thrummed. Panels glowed with clean light. Systems responded instantly, and a new shield generator hummed quietly in the belly of the ship. The refugees whispered in awe, some calling the humans miracle workers, others muttering suspicions. And through it all, the humans kept brewing that strange, dark drink in their small portable machine, offering it freely to anyone brave enough to taste. Most spat it out. A few grew addicted instantly. Trouble comes knocking. Peace didn't last long. On the 6th day, sensors screamed as 3 warships dropped from hyperspace. Their hulls bore the crimson insignia of the Veran Syndicate. Slavers, raiders, and one of the reasons the Oris Dawn had been hiding in the belt to begin with. Unidentified vessel. Came the barked hail. Surrender your cargo and passengers. Non-compliance will result in destruction. Trivane's stomach turned. The Oris Dawn could barely limp away from battle before. Even with human repairs, she wasn't meant for combat. But Commander Park didn't flinch. She folded her arms, eyes sharp on the view screen. They'll target us first, Trevane warned her. Good, Park said. Let them. Her crew moved with quiet efficiency. The medics strapped into a gunnery chair, while the engineers activated systems the refugees hadn't even known were installed. Hidden compartments opened to reveal turrets, drones, and what looked suspiciously like missile racks. You armed our ship? Trevane demanded. Of course, Park said. Repairs aren't just about fixing what's broken. They're about ensuring it doesn't break again. The first Varan salvo came, green plasma lancing through space. Shields, human shields, flared, absorbing the blast with barely a ripple. Then the Oris Dawn fired back. Weapons sang from her hull, far beyond anything she possessed before. Precision rail burst tore through one raider's engines. Drones swarmed another, cutting through its shields like paper. The refugees screamed and cheered in equal measure as their old freighter, once a limping wreck, fought like a predator reborn. The war begins. The Syndicate didn't forgive humiliation. Within a week, rumors spread of more fleets gathering, determined to crush the upgraded freighter and the humans aiding it. Park convened a meeting in the mess hall, the smell of coffee mingling with recycled air. Trevane, Morgan, and a dozen others crowded around. They'll keep coming, Park said flatly. We gave you strength, and strength invites challenge. The Syndicate won't stop until you're ash in the void. Then what do you suggest? Trevane snapped. We flee again? Hide. No. Park's gaze swept the room. You fight, and we'll fight with you. It was unthinkable. Humans hadn't fought an interstellar war in decades. Yet here they were, 4 of them, ready to stand against one of the most ruthless syndicates in the quadrant. Trevane hesitated. His people were tired, broken, untrained. But when he looked at his crew, he saw something dangerous in their eyes. Hope, training, and unity. The next weeks were chaos. Humans drilled the refugees in basic combat, teaching them to handle weapons, repair systems under fire, and fly in formation with their drones. Park herself walked the halls daily, speaking to every frightened child and weary adult, grounding them with her steady voice. And always there was coffee, a ritual before training, before battle, before sleep. It became more than a drink. It was a symbol, bitter, strong, and warming all at once. The crew began to call themselves caffeine soldiers in half-jest, painting crude steaming cups on their armor plates. When the Syndicate returned, they weren't ready for what awaited them. The Oris Dawn, once prey, had become a flagship. Refugee vessels flocked to her side, refitted by human hands, armed with human weapons. In the first true battle, the Syndicate lost 3 cruisers and retreated in confusion. News spread. Everywhere Syndicate oppression reigned. Whispers rose. Earth is back. The humans are here. The weight of war. But victories brought consequences. Larger fleets came. Syndicate allies, mercenaries, warlords, even some alliance powers, moved to stamp out the uprising. Every battle left scars. Every victory cost lives. Trevane found himself pacing the bridge late at night, torn between gratitude and fear. The humans had given them power, yes, but they had also brought war. One evening, he confronted Park. You knew this would happen. You knew giving us upgrades meant painting a target on our backs. Park's face was calm, though her eyes were tired. Yes. Then why? Why risk it? She sipped from her cup before answering. Because Earth remembers. We've been quiet, watching while the galaxy bled. We swore we wouldn't interfere again. But then we got your call. You didn't ask for weapons. You asked for repairs. That told us everything. You weren't looking for conquest. You were looking to survive. So we chose to stand with you. Her words were simple, but they burned into Trevane's chest. The final battle. The Syndicate's High Fleet came 6 months later. 30 warships, bristling with weapons, commanded by Lord Vera himself. The refugee armada was outnumbered 3-1. The battle would decide everything. On the bridge of the Oris Dawn, silence reigned as the enemy fleet appeared. Park stood at Trevane's side, coffee mug in hand. Scared? She asked softly. Terrified, he thought, but he nodded. Yes. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. Now let's show them what repairs can really do. The battle raged for hours. Refugee ships darted between Syndicate cruisers, striking with precision. Human tech turned shields into shifting walls of light, redirecting plasma fire. The Oris Dawn herself became legend, tearing through ships twice her size. But the Syndicate pressed hard. Hulls cracked, engines flared, comrades died. In the end, it came down to one desperate gambit. Bring us alongside their flagship, Park ordered. Trivane balked. That's suicide. Maybe, but it's also victory. The Oris Dawn plunged into the heart of the fleet, shields blazing. Drones swarmed, weapons howled, and at point-blank range, they unleashed everything into the Syndicate flagship's reactor. The explosion tore across space, blinding and terrible. When the light faded, the High Fleet was broken, scattered like ash on the wind. Aftermath. Silence fell over Quadrant. With their leader destroyed, the Syndicate fractured. Worlds once enslaved rose up. Refugees no longer ran. They fought and they won. The Oris Dawn limped from the battlefield scarred but unbroken. Her crew, once refugees, were now legends. And at the center of it all were 4 humans who had come because someone asked for help. Later, when peace tentatively returned, Trivane asked Park what they would do now. She only smiled. There will always be something broken. A ship, a people, a world. We'll keep repairing. And where repairs aren't enough, we'll give upgrades. Morgan lifted a steaming cup of coffee, voice trembling with pride. And maybe a little of this. Trivane finally tried it then, bitter and dark on his tongue, warming him from throat to chest. For the first time in decades, he laughed. They had asked her for repairs. They got upgrades, coffee, and a war that changed everything.